Everybody, I'm going to start the program. Welcome to 1915. Yay! And if you look around, you might see Charlie Chaplin. Laura Ingalls Wilder is here somewhere. And if you look really closely, that daredevil aviator Art Smith is here. So I'd like to start the show with... Oh, first of all, how many of you were out at the Palace of Fine Arts for the Centennial? Did you have fun? And did you go to the Yucathon, any of you? Did you try that? My friend Jan Bergfeld is here who organized that, and it was a wonderful hit. The lights were breathtaking. Did you love them? So let's keep that time travel mood going with one of the #1 hit tunes from 1915, performed by the Duchess of Ragtime, Ann Gibson, accompanied by the fabulous Craig Ventresco, and they're going to perform Hello Frisco.
Well, it seems as though I ought to let the tower... Hello, San Francisco! Are all of you about ready to hear a little bit of ragtime? Then let's do it. Maestro, please. Hello, Frisco. Hello. Hello, Frisco. Hello. Don't keep me waiting, it's aggravating. Why can't you hurry, Central, you're so slow. Hello, now can you hear? You know I love you, dear. Your voice is like music to my ear. When I close my eyes, you seem so near. Frisco, I called you up to say hello. Hello, Central, can't you see? Kindly hurry, just for me. Please do get me San Francisco. Someone's waiting all alone. Frisco is her name, she's at the Golden Gate. Central, it's a shame for her to have to wait. Please, long distance, do connect me. Get her on the telephone. Hello, Frisco, hello. How do you do, my dear? I only wish that you were here. Hello, Frisco, hello. How is the fair out there? They tell me that it is a bear. Don't keep me waiting, it's aggravating. Why can't you hurry, Central? You're so slow. I can hear you now. Hello, now can you hear? Dear, I bought the ring and I've arranged for everything. You know I love you, dear. We'll be together soon and then we'll have a honeymoon. Your voice is like music to my ear. When I close my eyes, you seem so near. Frisco, I called you up to say hello. Maestro, please play for them. hello, Frisco, hello. Hello, Frisco, hello, hello. Don't keep me waiting, it's aggravating. Why can't you hurry, Central, you're so slow. Hello, now can you hear? You know I love you, dear. Your voice is like music to my ear. When I close my eyes, you seem so near. Frisco, I called you up to say hello.
That was marvelous. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to a good friend of mine, Laura Ackley, the lovely author of San Francisco's Jewel City. And coincidentally, or maybe not so coincidentally, she will be autographing books at Book Passage in the Ferry Building directly after our ceremony. Now, Laura knows more about the Panama-Pacific International Exposition than anyone in the universe. Really, really, she does. So I would like to introduce her right now to talk about the illumination of the exposition and also the Ferry Building. Laura.
Well, thank you, Donna. I'm sure no one's expectations are set very high right now. I shall endeavor not to disappoint. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And I wanted to point out that we are about to be lucky enough to see a splendid sight. The Ferry Building beckoning visitors in lights, just as it did in 1915 when it welcomed them from all over the world to the Panama-Pacific International Exposition. But beautiful as this ferry tower is going to be, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the revolution in lighting that took place on the north side of the waterfront at the fair, where lighting designer Walter Darcy Ryan planned effects so innovative that many said that they could not be done. But Ryan succeeded beyond imagination and changed the course of lighting history. The first thing he did was create tall light standards hung with beautiful banners that concealed groups of lights, and these lovely structures had nothing to do with this streetcar. However, they did conceal groups of spotlights that were able to wash the palaces of the exposition with smooth, even light that we today would consider floodlighting. But before 1915, it simply hadn't been done on any scale. Hundreds of smaller spotlights that were hidden on the roofs of the buildings, each pointed at an individual flag or piece of sculpture, making them appear to glow magically. So even though these techniques were not as stunning as his light shows, they have become our standard lighting repertoire. But oh, his light shows. First of all was the electric kaleidoscope, which shone from within the 150-foot diameter glass dome of the Palace of Horticulture. The device beamed lights through a series of revolving bars, screens, and glass discs, projecting patterns onto the dome from the inside and making it appear like an iridescent 15-story glittering opal. A virtual sunset in gradients from crimson to sapphire rotated smoothly across its surface. Then comets and planets spun about in swinging orbits, changing color and finally dissolving into fluttering spots of lights that evoked birds and butterflies. Next was the astonishing Tower of Jewels. At 43 stories tall in the center of the fair, it dominated the skyline, stepping back in 7 tiers like an enormous layer cake encrusted with columns and statuary. but it was Ryan that gave it its name by dusting it with 102,000 large Austrian cut glass gems in candy colors, like a sugar coating of precious jewels. So Ryan called them Nova Gems, and today they are rare collectibles. And at night, the tower was hit with many colored spotlights, and the swinging Nova Gems made it look as though 1,000,000 fireflies had alighted upon it. Now, you may have noticed my apparel and wondered about that, and I'm wearing this because I just came from my time machine where I gathered this from the Tower of Jewels. No one's gonna miss just one from the 102,000, right? So lastly, Ryan invented the Great Scintillator. This was an animated fan of rainbow-colored lights that projected into the sky and fog above the Exposition. A pier near the yacht harbor supported 48 4-foot diameter spotlights, each mounted so that it had freedom of rotation in all directions. 60 Marines were required to make the lights swing and dance through patterns with names like the Devil's Fan, Fairy Feathers, and my favorite, the Fighting Serpents and Octopus. One magazine said, quote, "On receiving a color command, an apparently wild scramble ensues, but in 5 seconds, the screens are in place, the lamps trained to position, and behold, the aurora." Now, tonight, thanks to Tad Toby, Donna Ewald Huggins, Jim Phelan, and many, many more, we will again behold the wonder of illumination art in our fair city a centennial later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laura. Right now, let's bring back Craig Ventresco and the Duchess for their rendition of On San Francisco Bay, which I was told was the #1 hit song of all the Exposition and the theme song for the 1915 fair.
Away out west, one I love best is waiting there before me. I love her so where'er I go, I think of her always. Her eyes are bright, her smile is light, her voice is soft and dreamy. I can't forget the one that I met on San Francisco Bay. On San Francisco Bay. Well, I first met Tate by the Golden Gate way out on San Francisco Bay. And he stole my heart away on a dreamy summer day. And then we went canoeing and we did our wooing while we watched the seals at play. On a golden song he won my heart on San Francisco Bay. Well, I first met Tate by the Golden Gate way out on San Francisco Bay. And it stole my heart away on a dreamy summer day. Then we went canoeing and we did our wooing while we watched the seals at play. On a golden strand he won my hand on San Francisco Bay.
So you can see why that was the hit in 1915. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Anthea Hartig, CEO and Executive Director of the California Historical Society. CHS was primarily responsible for the wonderful exhibit out at the Palace of Fine Arts that many of you saw. We loved that. And they have an incredible exhibit open at their headquarters on Mission Street. So she's going to tell you a little bit about the PPIE and the things that are coming up for you to enjoy.
Thank you so much, the divine diva of all things PPIE and the mayor's official liaison to the PPIE 100. On behalf of our board of trustees, my incredible staff, our volunteers, our sponsors, our friends, and our members, it's truly my delight to be here as we re-illuminate the magnificent Ferry Building. As Donna so kindly mentioned, we're hosting 2 exhibitions called City Rising. We're open till 8 tonight. You can saunter down the street singing beautiful 1915 songs in your head, perhaps. And we'd love to see you there, as we would love to see you again at the Palace. With over 50 partners, many of you are here today. It's our honor with the Maybeck Foundation Innovation Hangar and San Francisco Rex and Park to launch last weekend PPIE 100. You can find all you need on ppie100.org with over 50 partners and amazing events, exhibitions, musical expressions, motorcycle gangs, and so much more. Google buses, all of it. We love it. That will take us through early next year as we commemorate, remember. Oh yeah, I mean they're like the real thing too. Yeah. Yes, and Harley Davidson was at the PPIE, just in case you know you. As we commemorate, remember, and take inspiration from the Great World's Fair that, as you know, stretched over 635 acres between the Presidio and Fort Mason and inspired over 19 million people examining and exploring and celebrating both America, the world, and San Francisco's rise from the ashes. And I think as we together build a new future, that the fair offers so much inspiration for us to cross over divides, to bridge gaps, to remember who we are and who we want to be. So on behalf of all of us at the California Historical Society, all of our partners, our sponsors, the presenting sponsor AT&T, Hearst Corporation, Wells Fargo, so many, and many of you here tonight, Sterling Bank, and we're going to honor some special ones tonight. We thank you. And thank you all for being here, and I know we can't wait as darkness falls. Thank you.
It's getting so exciting. I can hardly wait. Well, I don't know. How about the dance of the grizzly bear? This one will make you want to growl with joy.
This was a very, very popular dance over on the Barbary Coast, and I'm going to take 2 verses of this, 2 choruses of this, and give Mr. Ventresco, the maestro, a chance to play his own interpretation while I show to you how to dance the grizzly bear, which is very easy and fun to do in your parlor or wherever. Maestro. Out in San Francisco where the weather's fair, they have a dance out there they call the grizzly bear. All your other lovin' dances don't compare. Not so swoony, but a little more than croony. Talk about your bear, the Teddy Roosevelt shot. It couldn't class with what all San Francisco's got. Listen, my honey-do, and I will show to you the dance of the grizzly bear. Hug up close to your baby. Throw your shoulder toward the ceiling. Lordy, lordy, what a feeling. Snug up close to your lady. Close your eyes and do some napping. Something nice is gonna happen. Hug up close to your baby. Sway me everywhere. Show your darling beau just how you go to Buffalo, doing the grizzly bear. Let's sit down and rest a minute, honey dear. My head feels awful queer. Please call the waiter near. Waiter, water, quick, the lady's gone, I fear. Thank you, honey. In my purse you'll find some money. Where's the man who told me how to do that dance that put me in a trance? I'll take another chance. Now that I got my breath, I could go on to death. Come on with your grizzly bear. Hug up close to your baby. Hypnotize me like a wizard. Shake yourself just like a blizzard. Snug up close to your lady. If they do that dance in heaven, shoot me, hun, tonight at 7. Hug up close to your baby. Sway me everywhere. You and me is two. I'll make it one when we get through. Doing the grizzly bear. Shoulders toward the ceiling. Lordy, lordy, what a feeling. Snug up close to your lady. Close your eyes and do some napping. Something nice is gonna happen. Hug up close to your baby. Sway me everywhere. Show your darling beau just how you go to Buffalo. Doing the grizzly. Doing the grizzly bear.
Were you growling? That was kind of nice. I just saw that we have Emperor Norton arrived. Emperor? Impressive. I'm impressed. You having a good time?
Excellent time.
You give it your seal of approval.
Absolutely. I declare this a wonderful year of celebration.
Thank you. Thank you. We also have representatives of the Guardians of the City who preserve fire history. Bill Koenig, come on up and say hi. You can see one of the engines from the 1915 Exposition out at the Palace of Fine Arts. Now I'd like to introduce Monique Moyer, the director of the Port of San Francisco. Monique?
Welcome, San Francisco. Thank you for coming. 100 years ago, this was the spot, and it all began in August of 1914 on this very building. San Francisco had a ship sail from San Francisco to New York through the Panama Canal, and the Port of San Francisco displayed in large letters, "The Panama Canal is open." And why does that matter? Because it cut 7,000 miles off of the shipping trip, 60%, from 13,000 miles down to 5,000 miles. And it really is truly what made and propelled the port into greatness, which it held all the way through World War II. And we were surrounded by trolleys and all kinds of other vehicles that served all of the people that came for this great event. And one of the, isn't that perfect timing? Of course, I'm not the Muni director, so they'll do it for me. One of the great things that happened here is this was the first World's Fair to welcome the automobile. And it also welcomed all kinds of entrepreneurs who created transportation because so many people came that year for the World's Fair that we needed new vehicles. And 100 years later, we're now looking at driverless vehicles. So our history keeps building upon itself over and over and over again. Another thing that happened is this fantastic tower, 245 feet tall. The city argued for 1 year after the 1906 earthquake about whether it should stay. So what a more fitting place to celebrate 100 years of greatness than right back here at our tower. And I want to recognize for you Jim Phelan, who is the crazy curly-haired steeplejack who hangs off of that building. I have it on good authority that curly-haired people are in fact crazy. And it's just an amazing thing that he does. I don't know if you got to see some of the photos, but I stood here and watched him, and he looked like a little tiny bird up there. So please, thank you, Jim, for making this happen tonight. Really appreciate it. And I want to leave you with one more thing. In announcing that the World's Fair would be in San Francisco, President Taft coined the phrase, San Francisco, the city that knows how. So welcome back, the city that knows how. Thank you.
That was rip-roaring. I like that. I like that. Okay, now I hope I can get through this next part without crying, because I want to tell you how this all came about. About 5 months ago, I had a vision to relight the Ferry Building. It really was a vision, as it was in 1915. The iconic image of those lights greeting fairgoers had been in my mind ever since I first became entranced with the Exposition. My grandparents fell in love there, and they finally remembered strolling down Market Street toward the bay and seeing those lights. They talked about it. It was in my mind. I want to thank the first few people I approached with this idea who embraced it completely. Of course, Laura, my fiance John, who can't be here tonight, darn it. However, he did make all those great badges that I hope you're getting, the wonderful commemorative badges, so be sure you get one. Well, my longtime friend Charlotte Schultz, who of course, ever enthusiastic, said that's a fantastic idea. Willie Brown, is Willie here? He should be here. There he is, Willie Brown, yay! Willie! Willie Brown, who will be on stage with Charlotte shortly. And of course, Mayor Ed Lee. They all shared my vision, did not say it was impossible, but rather said, make it happen, Donna, go for it. So I did. From there, I met wonderful new friends, Renee Martin, yay, from the port, Deborah Garofalo and Jane Connors and Phil Hessian from the Ferry Building, Bobby Winston from Bay Crossings. They all pitched in. They just said, yes, 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 we want to do that. The media has been so great, especially history lovers Leah Garchick, Sam Whiting, and Carl Nolte from the Chronicle. Carl, I bet you're not going to soon forget your trip up to the very top of that Ferry Building with me. That was pretty wild. Special thanks. Wait, I got to get all this right now. Special thanks to all of you from me, and thank you so much for coming out tonight. The people who made this happen financially are as follows, and I have to give them all credit, because we put this together very, very quickly. If you are here, please raise your hands, and let's give them all a big cheer. We had Pier 39, Bay Crossings, Michelle and Chris Meany, the Maybeck Foundation, Autodesk, come on, I know you're out there, the Friend Family, Barbara and Bernard Osher, Platinum Advisors, and my special buddies, Scott Seligman and Sterling Bank. Is Scott here? And representatives from Sterling Bank. And Maurice Canbar, right there in the front row. Come on, Maurice. The California Historical Society, of course, were right there with me. PPIE 100 website, yes. Adam, are you here? Adam and Jason and all the people I've made, all my great friends from CHS who just made all this happen. Kevin, the PR person. The Ferry Building, all of you, the Port of San Francisco. And now, I would like to introduce you to my good friend, Tad Toby, who stepped up with that final big donation to make this happen. Tad. He also made the lead gift for the Bay Lights and facilitated the gift that lit the Palace of Fine Arts a couple of weekends ago. We love that. This is definitely one illuminated man. Tad, I can't thank you enough. Oh, would you like to say a few words? Oh, okay.
Actually, Donna orchestrated me to say a few words, so this is not voluntary. This is a command performance. Donna, don't go away yet. I have a few things to say about you. First of all,
You said you'd never tell.
well, I'm not going into that part. First of all, I wanted to recognize the talents and the effort and the energy that went into this incredible project, and also obviously the Palace of Fine Arts, and ultimately the Bay Lights, which I hope you'll all be seeing later tonight. So those were talents, and all I did was write checks, and that's a lot easier, believe me. I have one other informal comment before I start my formal comments, and that is that I was going to wear actually some kind of a attire tonight that was symbolic of the era that we're celebrating. And Donna stole my outfit. So, I'm sorry, I have to just be in street clothes, otherwise you would have seen me in that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very privileged to be here this evening. I want to recognize, 2 or 3 of my very close friends and people that I think have really contributed an enormous amount to our world, starting, of course, with the great Secretary of State, George Shultz. George, by most accounts of people that I'm close to, I think we collectively feel that George at one time should have been President of the United States. And he makes the greatest scrambled eggs that you can ever imagine. And of course, there is the incomparable Charlotte, his very, very close friend and companion and wife. And Charlotte, you bring a very special gift to this city. There's so many things that go on in the city of San Francisco that have your imprint on it that I want to collectively thank you on behalf of all of us tonight. How can you describe Willie Brown? Willie, too long. I do have to tell you a very short story about Willie Brown, which is actually a true story. Years ago, must have been at least 20, 25 years ago, when Willie was Speaker of the House, I had not met him, and I was kind of overwhelmed. I hadn't really accomplished much in my life as yet. But I did have the honor of introducing Willie at a particular function. I don't even remember what the function was at this point. So I came up to him and I said, Speaker Brown, could you kind of give me a little bit of assistance? How would you like me to refer to you? And he said, Your Worship would be fine. So, Your Worship, I've continued to use that when we see each other, and I enjoy our relationship. You're a wonderful man and a great addition to my life. Anyway, the one thing I wanted to say at the onset, but I got so hypnotized by Donna's dress here that I didn't say it. And what I want to say is that it is party time in San Francisco. Okay? And for the past year, we have been celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Panama International Exposition. You heard a lot about it this evening from Donna. And clearly, this wonderful edifice behind me is symbolic of that exposition, as was the Palace of Fine Arts. We are gracing our party time tonight with lights, okay? We had wonderful light show over at the Palace of Fine Arts. I don't know how many of you were there, but I've never seen the palace looking more beautiful. Wrote the check for that also. And today, we have. Listen, I'll tell you. I've spent half my life, trying to satisfy Donna with her financial requests. So anyway, this is a wonderful, wonderful occasion. I'm privileged to be here. I think that what we're going to see, I don't know exactly when we're going to turn on the lights, but I presume that Mayor Lee, my God, you came. This is your show, you know. Anyway, I've introduced all the other people here of title, and so I do take this opportunity. Why don't you stand, Mayor Lee, and we can all give you a hand of applause, okay? You know, I'll collect for that. So, I think I've extended my time limit, which was 2 minutes, and actually, I think I've gone about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And so, all I want to say to you at this point is, it's party time! Okay. Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Thank you again, Tad, for your incredible generosity. I know you already met Jim Phelan, but I have to give my special thanks to Jim Phelan, one of the most charming men I've ever met, certainly one of the most daring, steeplejack Jim Phelan, who was up there, took me up to the very top where I'd crawled around. Oh, I guess I'm not supposed to tell anybody that, but I was someplace I wasn't supposed to be. Let me tell you, what he did there was no small feat. I want you all to give him some cheers. He's here with his son, Kels, and his wife, Christina. He's become a very dear friend of mine, and I really, really do love him. I want to invite my longtime friend, someone who really needs no introduction, someone who has donated countless thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of hours of her time to make San Francisco and the Bay Area a better and certainly a more fun place, the one and only Chief of Protocol, Charlotte Schultz.
You just stay right here. You just stay right here. Okay, now, you know more about this centennial than anybody. This is your second life, right?
That is
Came
my
back.
second life.
Now, this was called the Jewel City. Wasn't that what it was called?
That's
this
right.
whole okay. Standing in front of you right here is the jewel of San Francisco of this centennial.
Thank you, Charlotte.
When Mayor Lee asked me to go and ask Donna to be his liaison to this whole centennial, I asked her, you can imagine well, I guess you can imagine, if you know Donna, the enthusiasm. It was like, yes, let's go for it. And I don't think there's any other part of Donna other than enthusiastic.
Oh, thank you, Charlotte.
And so she is the crown jewel of this whole necklace of all these people that are putting this whole celebration together. And Tad knows that nobody can say no to Donna. Is that right? Okay, now, we're going to get a little personal here. Okay? Now, you said that your parents fell in love here.
Grandparents.
Grandparents,
Yes.
okay. Now, tell me about this guy that gave you a ring the other night. Okay, this is it. This is it. I got to hear this.
Well, first of all, he's not here, but not because anything happened. No. He's a Panama-Pacific collector.
Yes.
He's very handsome.
Good.
He's very sweet.
Good.
He loves Charlotte.
Good.
He loves Laura.
Good.
He loves Willie. He loves San Francisco. He lives in Los Angeles.
Boo!
But he's moving up here. Yay! And he gave me a ring that was
Yes.
based on a souvenir ring that was sold at the Exposition. He went out on his own, figured out where to get it duplicated, and he figured the whole thing out. He's quite the charmer. You're going to love him, Charlotte. I know I should have asked you first, but
Yeah.
it happened so fast. It was a surprise.
We
But
like
thank
surprises.
you. Yes, we do. And Charlotte, you're like a sister to me. I mean, we've known each other a long time.
Yeah,
and
well, we're still young, though.
we're both Libras, and we both know how to have fun.
Oh, we got it. All right. Didn't you like that romance? It was good, isn't it? Now, there's another person that's around here that had something to do with a lot of things around here, right? So this is a person who has restored a lot of things and restored the Ferry Building, I think.
Yes.
Restored the City Hall.
Yes.
Was around when we restored the Opera House. We built the library. And I don't know why he hasn't restored both of us. Not you, but him and us. Anyway, that person is Willie Brown, the former mayor of San Francisco. Coming up here. So how about this restoring? Couldn't you have restored us or something?
I'm working on it.
Well, you're a little late. Okay.
That's not unusual for me.
Okay. Now this ferry building was the first place. Like 18 million people came here for this big fair in 1915, and one of the first places they came to was the Ferry Building, and here were these lights and welcoming that said, "Welcome to San Francisco to this great fair," and so now we're going to light it. But during the earthquake, it was one of the buildings that stood up to it. But you restored it when you were mayor. Now, what did you do to it?
Well,
You put in more bars or what?
Well, I inherited. I inherited the responsibility
Speaking
to
to
finish.
Do you know how to do this?
All right, I inherited the responsibility to finish what had been started by mayors that preceded me. And the challenge, of course, Charlotte, was to make sure that we could do it with its historical significance at the forefront and not have it be turned into what it had become. It had almost become something that nobody would recognize. And lo and behold, we were able to do that collectively. And believe me, doing it was a great challenge. The private sector stepped up and put up lots of the money.
Was
When
Tad
William Wilson,
Was Tad Toby here?
I didn't know Toby then. I would have had every nickel of his if I had known that. As a matter of fact, I hardly knew Donna. But it was a great, great opportunity. And as the citizens of San Francisco proceeded, including at that time Mayor Ed Lee. Mayor Ed Lee was running one of the departments that had the responsibility to make sure that this facility happened.
Wow.
It's fabulous. And believe me, the day that I left City Hall, the first office I had was right there. I wanted to be in the Ferry Building.
Did you pay rent?
Well, I found out I couldn't afford it.
Well, you know, the first thing you see also in San Francisco is that when you look down Market Street, and I think when you were mayor, you tried to restore Market Street as every other mayor did, didn't they?
Yes, every other mayor attempted to restore Market Street, and I think the collection of us have done reasonably well all the way to about 5th Street. And now Mr. Lee
Yeah, that's
is
what I was
picking
leading
it up
to.
at 5th Street, and he's gone all the way to Van Ness Avenue, and he's doing one hell of a job. I walk it now in peace.
Well, I think what we're supposed to do, I bet people are wondering why we're up here, don't you? Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think. I think they figured that if we were here, we were going to get the mic one
Yeah,
way or another.
one way or another.
That's just no. So it's not surprising. But I got to tell you something, though, Charlotte. With all of what has been done, and when I was out at the Palace of Fine Arts last week, hanging out with Tad and with a few of the other people who were there, I was frankly amazed. Some of the people actually thought Donna was at the original.
Oh, well, you really did restore her, didn't you?
Yeah. She
Whoa.
was so authentic in every way. She knew so much about what had actually occurred. It was as if she was telling the story of, let's say, one of the events that you actually put on over the last 30 years of your involvement with the city. It was just incredible the way in which she laid it out. And she even impressed Maurice Kanbar. And that's really difficult to do.
That's good. Well, you know, she had the vision of bringing this back, of lighting this. And when she came to all of us and talked about lighting, putting the lights up of 1915, where the Ferry Building welcomed people, it was really a challenge because it was lots and lots of money. But she did it.
Well, I got to
and-
tell you, the most wonderful thing is when she called me and said, I got the money.
Yeah, she called me. I know, we did.
I took the call. Ordinarily, I don't take the call.
Well, anyway, so we were talking about Market Street and how the Mayor Lee has restored and, like you did, buildings. He's making Market Street work so you can look down at the Ferry Building. So he's lighting up San Francisco, lighting up Market Street. And so I think he's here to light this place up tonight. Do you think?
I think that's the reason why he's
Okay.
here, and I think we ought to give him that opportunity.
Yeah, do you think you want to say any more things about him?
No, not tonight.
Well, I want to tell you this, that Mayor Lee, everything that, all the wonderful things that we talk about doing in San Francisco, he is so supportive. And so this commemoration, every time we've gone to him for any help, any enthusiasm, he is there for it. And he is a person who is lighting up this city. And tonight, are you ready to light up this building? Okay, is that it? Or what?
All right, Mayor Ed Lee, would you please join us and have some words? And as the darkness falls, I'm sure that Donna will start the count. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Ed Lee.
Yay! Okay.
Wow. Charlotte and Willie, aren't they wonderful? Yeah. Tad, Donna, thank you very much for just all your support. We're doing this. I want to also again thank the California Historical Society. Anthea has been wonderful. We had a great exhibit over there and still will go on the rest of the year at the Palace of Fine Arts. How's everybody tonight? Are you ready for some new lights? Well, gosh, what a wonderful time in the city. And, you know, we've been talking all year, or the last couple of years, on the Bay Lights and how wonderful that's been to really have brought a refreshing look at our city, and people from around the world are coming to see those Bay Lights. So I'm glad all that money was raised. And Tad, again, thanks to you and so many other people, the private sector has joined the public sector in getting those Bay Lights on the Willie Lewis Brown Bridge. And tonight, gosh, just to see these numbers, 1950, 15, right on this Ferry Building, it's exciting to see. And again, my thoughts go back to what were the innovators of that time 100 years ago thinking about, and how were they creating, how were they moving themselves, and ultimately how they were talking to each other about making sure this city would be successful to a lot more people than just themselves. They had to be looking into the future. That was what the whole World's Fair was about, was taking the innovation at that time, whether it was the telephone, transatlantic call, or the inventions of the car, or so many other things that were going on, and thrusting that and allowing people to visualize that. Well, this Ferry Building, thanks to the port and to the city government and to the private donors, we got it right to restore this. And I remember the thing after the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake, that flag was crooked for a long, long time. And now it finally got straightened out. The clock was beginning to work, and we had so much challenge with just getting those two items to get this tower. So now I'm ready to turn on the switch. But before I do that, just wanted to advise Charlotte and Willie that, you know, when it comes to restoring people, I think there's an app for that. All right, are we getting ready?
We're getting ready. Now I want Charlotte, Willie, Tad, come on up here. You're going to pull this wonderful Rube Goldberg type switch here. Jim, you're going to come up here. Maurice, come on up. Come on, Maurice. Maurice. Now those are the people who are going to pull the switch. Now all the other people who worked on this, hello. Here's our wonderful fire chief. Yeah, no. We're going to do the countdown. Okay. Get up here. Come on, everybody who helped me on this. We're going to do the countdown. Come on, Anthea. Okay, get ready. All right. Jim, you have to stand in the front. Come on, Jim. Okay, now, is everybody up here? Come on. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready? I'm so excited. Is this going to work? Malcolm, I see you out there. Hi, Malcolm. Okay. All right, we're going to start a countdown from 10. Jim, from 10? 10. Okay. Who's got their hand on the switch? Okay, well, wait. Okay. All right. Start the countdown. Everybody. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's more beautiful than I ever imagined. Thank you. Do you love it? Now this will be up till December 4th, so tell all your friends to come see it.